Hi guys. So I wanted to say I know I have some really good viewer requests for some readings or for some topics, and I will get to those. I'm sorry that I haven't. I've just been sort of on this roll in the last 10 days with everything happening, and I feel like we need now to top it off. We got to check in on Trump, right? So let's do that. Obviously, he can't be having a good few days, a good week. I mean, he had the Bannon thing and these books and then this military stuff. And he was kind of down in the military approval rating anyway. And then this other stuff coming out. It's just, and then today, there's all these boats sinking, these Trump boat parades, and there's like boats that are sinking and burning on fire. I'm sorry, but it's hilarious. So, okay. So down to business. I kind of like including my little bell in the recording. Clear the energy. Okay. Help us to see Trump. Okay. Whoa. Okay. That's interesting start. Howling at the moon. Okay, let's see more. Donald Trump. Donald Trump. Donald Trump. How is Donald Trump doing right now? So I threw these cards on Saturday, and it's now Monday. I wish I had gotten to, it's been a heat wave. Yesterday was the hottest day in recorded history where I am in California, and I don't have AC in here. But anyway, I wish I had put this out because it's so interesting. There are things that have already played out, and I'll show you, but I also have some insight into some other things that are interesting to take note of on the side here. And I'll say about my style, I really do, and I wonder, are there other readers who do this, or is it just me? But I like to step away, and even when I sleep on a read, I dream of the cards, and in the morning, sometimes I'll just go, oh my God, I know exactly. And sometimes if I do the recording too soon, I'm like, oh, I have to re-record that because I have this other insight now. Or some people notice I'll write little messages in the text, or I'll add a voiceover thing to sort of say, I see what this is now. I'm glad that some people seem to like it, and thank you so much for your nice comments. It's really awesome. I swear, I always brace myself when I go to look at comments. I'm just like, you never know what you're gonna get. And then I just get like this wave of just such warm kindness, and it's just the greatest. Thank you so much. I really enjoy sharing these with you guys, so this is fun. So I hope you find this one interesting. So we're talking about Trump. So howling at the moon, which is, okay, so it's really interesting because this strength card here, this is like the speech we just saw. He came out very, he's a compulsive liar and a nightmare, but he was very strong in his denial. He's not cowering from this military story. He's like just coming out like a beast, like a bully beast, like you see in that lion, right? And I'll also say, I saw this as being delivered cocaine. And today in his speech, if you go on Twitter, you will see a little ball of white came out of his nose in the middle of his speech, and he sniffed, and I kept looking and going, he's sniffing. This is how he gets his confidence to act like that, to be this king, his grimy hand holding this globe here. He's not going to let up because of, for instance, this military story, but I will tell you that there's a death card here. This is a transition card over his blah, 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 blah moon card. And I'll also point out, you see in this card his sword, his wand or his rod, even his pentacle, it's all sort of like falling and drowning into this water here. This is all he is this ego. And he needs the drugs to help him be strong. But this was a shift, this story. This was a death blow. So, don't be too thrown off by how strong he's coming out on this. At the surface, I have this King of Swords. Yeah, he's working with his Stephen Miller. That's his idea guy. I also saw this as, they say the pen is mightier than the sword. That he's thinking of the writer of that article and the publication of that article. And of course, yes, he has been so it's like, basically this is what's on his mind, and he has been going full force attack on them. So there's that. And here at the base, I see this as the swamp. This is his swamp, the swamp he has created. And also this swamp being very much so this Three of Wands is sort of like looking for help overseas. I see this as there's like this channel that goes from Russia to the White House. And I feel like it's like a Rudy Giuliani type. Like that's the energy of this type who says, I have a message for you. Here's what we're going to do. It's sort of that gross back channel. So that's sort of at the base. And, this being the story, this Three of Swords, that cloud hanging over. And this I also see in the traditional Three of Swords, it's three swords through a heart. And that's, our pain and the pain that the military had to feel, our country had to feel over just those words, his words, what he has done to our country, and what he has done to the memory of those fallen soldiers killed in battle. And we do have the Justice card here, even though we had to sit, I don't know if you even watched that horrible speech, but we still have to watch and listen to him and his garbage being spewed out. But justice, I see this as the polls. The polls will show the truth, that he is not doing well. And the fact that it's sort of, I sometimes connect these two cards telling that story. So this pain will be reflected. This pain, this insult will be reflected in the polls. This I do see as his, this hopes and fears. Yeah, he's afraid of more stories coming out. Who else knows things on me? And I also think he's hoping he can distract with a lot of his own garbage. And I do have some clarifiers on this Strength card, which I'll show you, which helps to explain. I mean, I think we all know how his tricks, but let's look at the base at this point. I had a little side story. This was at the bottom of the deck. And this I see, as you see this man handing this sword to this boy. This I feel as the bot armies. I forgot to add, Five of Swords means division and fighting. And this is what, of course, he wants to cause everybody to be doing. I think some of them are actual bots. Some of them they're actual people, but they're inauthentic accounts. It's like they have this army of people out there working. I saw one, we used to see them all the time, and it would like literally say it's out of Russia. So yeah, that's their little plan, their little army of illusion, delusion, this Seven of Cups, and distraction. Sure, of course. That's just typical. And this is how he holds his ground, this Seven of Wands. So yeah, basically answering to us, like, yeah, he's gonna still hold his ground, at least with enough of his base. The Fool, this is very much him. Actually, it's interesting, if you look at his face, it looks like a young version of him anyway. This is sort of a strength of his, is that, well, first of all, he has that weird positive thinking, even though he's such an evil person. His foolishness has been his biggest asset in a weird way. So I also do see this as, he's losing his mind. This Moon card is also lunacy. This is also just madness. Madness covered by death. That's what we're looking at here. Interesting also, death in relation to the soldiers. The Fool I just see as just another one of his tactics. He just has the ability, part of it because I do believe he has dementia, and he's able to just forget about things or let things go in a way that is strange and works in this context, in this insane, like, sort of moment in time. But I do see this Four of Swords as... Now, I know there are people coming out in defense of him, but there are a lot more that are not. This Four of Swords being retreat, pulling away. There are people, and I see this as people in, like, Congress, like Republican leaders, people who are pulling away from Trump. And you don't see it or hear about it because it is done in a more silent way. But that's there. So that's good. And they don't want to be associated with this fool. That's part of that. So that's good. He's not being defended. He'll tell you who's defending him, but it's not very many. Not very many are willing to touch this guy any, like, really maybe anymore. So on this strength, I got this Two of Pentacles and this Two of Swords, which is interesting because that's two twos. And then beneath it, we have this Queen of Cups, which I'll get to in a second. You know, very much, you see, he just flips the story. And he, you know, he's a clown. He flips the story. And that's how this Two of Swords, meaning like self-protection, self-preservation. So that's his trick. But then also these women who are coming to his defense, the Nikki Haley and the Sarah Huckabee Sanders. I don't know why Sarah Huckabee Sanders matters at all, or why the media even needs to report her opinion on this. It's ridiculous when, like, it's not even. And that's another thing I see in this. You know, why? And is this the media just like making it like there's this side and then there's this side? When this side is so much sourcing, so many people speaking out, so many people upset. And then, like, but Sarah Huckabee Sanders says this. How are these things equal? Or Donald Trump, who's a compulsive liar. That's part of how he gets away with this, is saying, well, you have this side, but then here's a different side. So as if these two sides are equal. They're not. Not in the least. But the media does that. There's that division, the two and the two. It's all about division and creating a false impression that it's really the controversy is the news media. Ooh, no, it's not. Queen of Cups. Yeah, so this is like the women speaking out, and I think they have more lined up. I think you're going to see, I think Melania actually did already tweet, and I think you're going to see Ivanka, and I think they'll be coming out and doing more sort of photo ops with military wives and mothers, and some kind of announcement of this new thing. So they're going to try to do their PR to sort of cozy up to the military, but it's just so artificial and contrived. It's and there's that thing of well, that's really the women's place to have compassion, which of course it's not. It's on all of us to have compassion. But it seems like the Trump and those types really like to divide that. That's the woman's work. So another little interesting side story here that I see that was at the bottom after all of this is this Nine of Cups that I see is my Jesus card in this deck. And the Lover's card being that sort of partnership between the Christians and Trump, right? But what we have here with this Eight of Cups is a walking away. I believe you're going to see Christians walking away from Trump from this story. I think that we might see that in the polls. Of course, it'll go down more in military, but also Christians. It's your intuition kicks in. If you have a true heart, you're eventually just going to say, there's something really ugly going on here and I need to walk away from this. Wanting to go back to a more innocent time, this Six of Cups. And actually, I see that as the Biden-Harris ticket. The nostalgia, Biden having been, the vice president. So that's cool. So, more people going to Biden. I do see this as those who are just simply stuck in their ways. And if you look closely at this man, he just sort of looks a little brain dead. He's just not looking. He's just looking straight ahead. He's committed. This Eight of Pentacles is a commitment to a craft. I see this as a commitment to a party, commitment to the vote that they already intend to do. They're not going to change their vote. So you're always going to have those people. And then this Hermit card is interesting. Now, the Hermit card in general gives me hope here because it means people are looking inside. I talked about that intuition. Your intuition has to kick in. People looking inside and which is always good. This country needs that. But this particular deck in this Hermit card says to me that people who are normally silent are coming out and speaking out. So that's really cool. That's what I feel here. I don't know if we've already seen some people. I mean, I've watched a lot of videos as military like elders who have served, and they're just like people who've never put out a video before. They're just clicking record, saying what they need to say and putting it out there, and I'm seeing things go viral. So it's just really interesting. People who have kept quiet, speaking out. That's great. People are pulling away their Trump signs from their lawn. That's a story I really have liked too because of this story. They just started taking down their Trump signs, pulling away silently. You may see Trump out there. He looks strong. He's acting like this lion, being a bully. I'm still here. I am still this emperor. Of course, he needs the drugs. It's kind of a funny story because I saw this and I looked at these cards for a while. What is this? What is this? And I thought like 8-ball, which is funny because I don't do drugs. I'm not very sophisticated with the terms, but I thought 8-ball. And I kind of laughed because I used to think when you heard that term, you know, in movies or whatever, I actually would have thought that they like would deliver a ball of drugs to someone. So I was like, that's an 8-ball going to the emperor. I know now that an 8-ball is not a ball of drugs, but that's sort of what I got. And then it made a lot of sense to me. But you know, I think they also give him downer. This is like handlers. This is how he's functioning. Handlers. Let's give you some uppers. Let's give you some downers. You know, this guy Noel, I'll put his name below, Noel Castler Comedy. He worked with Trump for years on The Apprentice. He knows that Trump is always doing drugs. So that's their strong. And I couldn't believe when I watched that speech today, coke coming out of his nose. And I noticed him sniffing through that whole speech. And people just don't sniff that much. I've been doing this recording for 15 minutes. I probably haven't sniffed once. See? Imagine I was doing that. Anyway. So anyway, there's my raid. I hope you guys found that interesting. Thanks for watching. I really enjoy sharing these with you guys and getting your comments and your intuitions. If you're reading on your end, I think it's always interesting. Or if you read something in these cards that I didn't quite see. Thanks so much. Please like and subscribe if you would. And otherwise, I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.